I'm Brenda Walton, and I'm retired. I'm a student at the culinary school. I'm also a Saline County Master Gardener, and I'm here today to show how to break down a chicken. The first thing you need to do when you purchase your chicken is to remove it from the packaging, and you want to smell that. You want to make sure that this is there's no foul smell, that everything is fresh. There's no really dark, bloody areas along the breast or anything, which I hope you inspected that before you purchase the bird. Um, and then you're going to dry it. You want you want to start out with a dry chicken. It reduces slippage, slipping out of your hand, especially with this knife in it. It's just a safety measure. It's something that I prefer to start out with as a dry chicken. Growing up, we didn't. Those chickens were wet, and there were things that happened. So you want this chicken to be dry. People are intimidated by cutting up a chicken, but you get your best quality from a whole chicken. This is a towel with vinegar in it. Um, you want to be very cautious of splatters from this chicken. You don't want chicken juices or the water from cleaning it to be splattered all over the place. I would suggest that you keep a vinegar towel. I like to use vinegar for this, and so you can wipe your hands with it. But if you notice, there's a fat line that's running right on this leg quarter, in between the leg quarter and the breast. You want to make your first cut there. And you just want to open this up. You want to do the same on the other side. And this is a small um, animal, carcass, whatever you want to call it, that makes you comfortable. We're outside, if you didn't notice, if you hadn't noticed, so we're dealing with nature. So cut this other fat line, and you're going to open that up. Now, here's where some people may be a little squeamish. You need to break this down. And all you have to do is just bend this down. After you've followed that fat line to make that first initial cut on the leg quarters, you're going to bend that back. And this is a good sized bird, so I'm going to only be able to do one side at a time. But manipulate this to where it's comfortable for you to handle. And you want to bend this until you hear that joint pop out. This is a big old bird here. Okay, hold on. Let me go at it this way. It is so important that this is broken. So, if you have to manipulate this to where, and I don't know if you heard that, but this is what you want to see. You want this joint, because this is going to help you cut this up a whole lot better. So you want to snap that joint that way. So same thing with the other side. Because this is a good sized bird, which is a good lesson for people, because you may want to do this to a turkey. You can cut a turkey up and do the very same thing. But you want this to pop out. Manipulate this, turn it on its side, and pop that joint out. Sometimes you have to let the weight of the chicken help you. But here's the joint on this side too. You want to see that. Okay. All right. So once you've snapped that joint out, you want to turn this chicken on the side. Now, okay, I'm going to dry this off because I want you to be able to see this part on this chicken. This is the oyster, if you can see this. it is the most desirable part to me and a lot of other people on this chicken. And there's two of them. This is very tender. It has a lot of flavor in it, and a lot of people desire that. When it comes to knives, you really should feel that knife before you purchase that knife. I know a lot of people buy knives online, and you can go and get them in, different places, but you got to be able to pick that knife up, and you need to hold that knife. You need to know the weight. You need to know if that knife even fit in your hand. Um, the length of the knife, is it comfortable for you? You really need to start out with a good tool. You don't have to have a $300 knife. You just have to have a sharp one. And I would suggest that you, again, research. You have to research the quality of the company, but then you really need to hold that knife and touch it. Um, a good pair of poultry scissors, that's what you need as well too. Some people can't wheel a knife. My husband is a little leery of handling knives, but when it comes to scissors, he's fine. You can use poultry scissors as well. Chicken is a small animal. You can manipulate this. This isn't like cutting up a pig or a side of beef. You want to come around, grab that oyster, and I'll show you once I pull this off. Lay the chicken back down for those that are a little uneasy about a knife, and then make your cut. And you're just gonna cut straight. Here's your leg quarter, and there's that oyster. That's a good looking cut, if I have to say so myself. You're gonna do the same thing on this side. Let the weight of the chicken help you. There's that oyster. You're gonna cut right around it. Make sure you're looking at what you're cutting. Come on down and around. Lay this cock. I'm sorry, I just got the weirdest feeling because I'm cutting this chicken up. And there was a live chicken just walked by me. I don't know if it's like, hey, what you doing? I'm gonna remove that. But here's this. Again, let your knife go on the other side of that joint that you popped out, and just cut straight through. That's why a sharp knife is imperative. You really need a good knife for this. And here's your other thigh with the oyster. The next thing I remove is the wing. And if you look at this, there's an armpit right there. You're gonna wanna cut right under the armpit. And if you can see, if you cut at that armpit, you're gonna hit this joint again. And this will make removing this wing so much easier. You wanna buy the best quality chicken, and your free range or your organic chicken, they're gonna be a better product. They are gonna cost a little bit more. But when you get that chicken compared to a cut up chicken, a regular cut up chicken, it's gonna be cheaper. I looked at it this morning, and Kroger free range chicken is $9 and something. So you're like, oh, that's a lot. But then I looked up the cut up regular chicken, and that whole cut up chicken is over $12. So you can take that $9 and some change, and get a great quality, good, healthy, well-raised chicken compared to a cut up chicken. So there's the rib cage is running right here. You also see another line of fat. This time I'm going to use scissors. I'm going to show you. I think scissors at this point is fine. I'm going to do scissors on one side and then I'm going to use the knife on the other. But here's that line of fat and you just cut through it. A good pair of scissors. Good tools are very important. You have to have good tools. Again, you've got your fat line running right here. You want to cut on that line. And you're going to run into those rib bones. They're very easy to cut through. I like scissors better. You can use a knife. You're going to have that backbone, the bony part and the flat part, where you can make stock out of it. Thanksgiving's coming. I haven't bought stock probably in, I'm going to take a leap and say 20 years. This is the bony back and the flat back. Great for stock. You want this. You want this in your when you're buying a whole chicken. When you're buying a cut up chicken, you'll get it. It's not going to look like this, but you will get a whole. You will get the bony back and the flat back when you buy a whole chicken. When you cut up your own chicken, you can manipulate how much meat is left on it. You can actually cook this. This was my mom's favorite part. This was my dad's favorite part. So it became part of the serving. We had a large family. Depending on the size of your family, you can cut that chicken up into quarters and you've got big pieces. You can cut it up into 8 pieces, and it just depends on the size of your family. But you're gonna have extra. You're gonna make slices right along. I'm gonna turn this for camera purposes, but if you're actually cutting this, you want it to be comfortable to you. But you're gonna make slices along this blade. I'm gonna have to turn this. I gotta see what I'm doing. And see, this is removing that from the bone. And honestly, at this point, you can use your fingers and you can feel where that sternum, that darker bone is. You want to keep cutting and keep pulling. Great time for your scissors. Turn this back around and you're gonna cut. Okay. Look at that breast. That is a big piece of meat. And I think it easily feed 2 people. Easily. Underneath is your tenderloin. This is easily removed if you want it for yourself or for the kiddies or someone that just wants boneless breast meat with no skin. There's your tenderloin. It needs to be cleaned up. This tendon here, scissors are the perfect tool for that. Clip that out. That's tough. So there you go. There's that. The other side. So there's that sternum. We're going to set this up. You can feel it and see it right here. That's what you're going to do. Is run your knife along that bone. And you can feel it. And you're going to keep going down. And you want to angle it toward the out so you can get all of that, as much of that as you can, off that bone. Now, you always have to maneuver, manipulate, and see what you're doing. Another boneless, skin on chicken breast. Great on the grill, great stuffed, great rolled, a roulade. You can manipulate, cut these little pieces off. I like to use this in my stock. This is going to add a lot of flavor to your broth, to your stocks. So if you start out cutting that chicken in half and you're comfortable cutting that chicken in half, then go for quarters. Cut those halves in halves. So now you've got two big chunks, a good serving, more than what we really need, of meat that it was easy to cut up. You can store that, you can freeze it, you can cook it, you can boil it. There's just a lot of things you can do with a chicken that's cut in half and one that's cut in quarters. And when you get comfortable with that, then yeah, venture out into, look at some YouTubes or look at this over again and go into cutting. I'm going to show you how to break down this leg quarter. Again, chicken is going to give you an indicator of where to cut. Right here is a line of fat. And it's there on this one too. If you go on the drum side, meaning the drum leg side of that line of fat, you should cut straight through this leg. And there you go. It's not that difficult because the chicken will give you, will show you where you need to cut. Again, right here is that line of fat. You're going to cut on the drum side of that fat. I cannot stress to you how important it is that you purchase whole chickens. You get better quality. You can process this chicken in any shape, form, fashion that you choose that fits your needs. It's going to be a healthier product. It's going to be a better quality product, and it's a more economical way to serve a relatively inexpensive protein to your family. Cut up your own chicken and feed your family the best quality protein that you can afford.